Hello, good morning. Welcome to the latest video of Talking Ball. It's the 3rd of August. We are Signal Centre. I'm Joe, joined by Steve and Jamie. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you both?
Yeah, good morning, mate. All right.
Good, good. Uh, cool. How was Connor's birthday yesterday, Steve? All good?
Yes, it was a very happy birthday.
Excellent. Glad.
Good.
Okay, let's get stuck into the latest headlines then. To start off the video, then we can move on to the charts and have a look at the latest price action and what's moving markets at the moment. In terms of news, the hawkish Fed rhetoric yesterday was noted. The San Francisco Fed President Daly stated that work on inflation is nowhere near done and that the Fed has a long way to go on the task. She also added that the central bank is looking at incoming data to decide if the pace of rate hikes can be downshifted or maintained at current pace. Chicago head Evans stated that he is hopeful that the Fed can increase rates by 50 basis points in September and then continue with rate hikes until the beginning of the second quarter of 2023. He expects to see fund rates between 3.75 to 4% by the end of 2023. And then finally, the Fed president from Cleveland stated that she hadn't noticed any evidence that inflation had begun to level off. As a result of all of this, we saw US yields increase sharply. The overall rhetoric from Daly was hawkish, and the comments from Evans suggested a notable higher peak in rates than expected by markets, and Treasury declined sharply after that on the Wall Street Open, with them hitting 2.7%. We also saw a decent recovery in the dollar yesterday. Higher bond yields were a crucial element in triggering a notable dollar rebound on Tuesday. The dollar index rebounded strongly from 4-week lows, although it faded from peak levels seen in Asia. And also the Taiwan concerns continue. The US House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi, her plane landed in Taiwan around the European close, and there was some relief that there was no immediate response from Beijing. China, however, announced that there would be military exercises surrounding Taiwan from the 4th of August, which maintained underlying concerns. Also, further reservations over the possible impact on the Ukraine war if China moves closer to Russia. There was some solid Chinese data overnight. The Caixin PMI Services Index strengthened to 55.5 for July from a previous reading of 54.5, which provided an element of relief over the domestic economy. So that's that for the news. Shall we have a look at some charts?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it. Where do
I'm
you want
happy
to
to
start,
go.
Steve?
Yeah, I'll dive into cryptos to start
To
with.
start,
To start with, yeah, not really a lot going on the crypto front yesterday. We can see from the daily chart that we've had this this gentle correction from the breakthrough resistance at 24,300. We've had 5 days of mildly bearish indecision, with prices moving slightly lower, but not in any big range or anything. We do have a 21-day moving average coming in at 22,537. And yeah, just hovering just above there at the moment. We've had a little dip down. So that's a lower low. This continues. This sort of trend of lower lows over the last 5-6 days. So that's continued to, well, actually, we didn't quite get to yesterday's low today. No, we're just above it, by about 20 points. So yeah, just holding off at the moment. So it's mildly positive to start the day. But we've still got this, we're still in this sort of like corrective channel formation, trading around the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud, little bit of resistance there. And on the hourly chart, still under a bit of pressure after forming this head and shoulders formation. So a little bit of light relief this morning, but nothing to write home about on the crypto front. Taking a look at gold, it's a little bit more interesting, but not a lot. We've had this move higher, and yesterday's price action actually extended up to the resistance we were talking about. This was support back on the 16th of May and on the 1st of July, and we said that would potentially offer some resistance, and it has done. It got up to that price, 1787, before rejecting and moving lower. It's actually formed a shooting star candle, so that's something to be concerned about if you're holding gold at the moment. There is potential for that to top out, the market to top out here. You can see even if we go back to January, the start of the year, and February, the start of the year, that level has been quite pivotal. So we really need the bulls really need a break above it. The bears will be quite happy after this first test and the rejection lower forming a shooting star candle. We're still in this pretty decent downtrend at the moment. 21-day moving averages below at 1733, and this morning we've had a little bit of recovery from the sell-off. So yeah, going to be quite interesting in gold. Looking at the short-term chart, we picked up on this inverse head and shoulders, which has played out really nicely, and we can see that's the first real target was hit yesterday. The measured move target was just above here, around about $1,800. But for the moment, have we given up on it? If we think about impulsive waves and Elliott wave theory, this could be the first wave, third wave, looking for that fifth and final wave before the correction lower. So there's still a glimmer of hope for the longs in the market at the moment. So don't give up just yet. I feel like if we get a break of the 1750 level, then that could be a sign that this deeper correction is looking to retest the 1680 area. On oil, we had quite a decent sell-off yesterday. We tried to recover the losses we suffered on Monday, and got up to 95.78 on WTI crude oil, and then a really nice sell-off again, keeping the pressure on to the downside. So at the moment we're holding around about the support area between 91.50 and 93. A break below that 91.50 level should open up a retest of the 88.20 spike lower we saw on the 14th of July. We're below the 21-day moving average. We haven't been above that since all the way back, really. The last time we closed above it was on the 14th of June. So we've had quite a decent sell-off in terms of trend on that crude oil, WTI crude oil. Take a quick look at nat gas. That has stalled at resistance, which we highlighted last week, and it's continued the reaction lower. 21-day moving average comes in around about 738. That would be really the next level of support, and really resistance coming in around about 820 at the moment. Really need to push the price above there for a little bit more optimism to come in. Also, one that I don't like missing out on now is silver, realizing that there's so many people looking at silver. It's a very well traded product, and we have highlighted. I want to highlight this evening doji star formation, which was formed. It's a 3 candlestick formation. You have the up candle, the indecisive candle. It could even be a shooting star or a doji candle in this case, and then follow through to the downside. That is a topping formation, and that's been confirmed. So nice little resistance level coming in around about the 2050 level. Further downside expected on that based on technicals. The 21-day moving average coming in at 1916. So yeah, a little bit on the back foot, silver. All driven by dollar, and maybe just let us know what's going on in the dollar world.
I'll attempt to, for sure. So looking at the dollar, we saw a really nice move to the upside yesterday, a big bullish candle, bullish outside day. So we moved lower below the low that we posted on the 1st of August and actually closed at the highs of the session yesterday to form that bullish outside day. I'm just going to get rid of that channel. So the pullback in price fell to a 50% fib level. This is from the lows that we posted on the 30th of May to the highs that we posted on the 14th of July. Really nice support level that seems to have done a pretty good job, attracted the bulls back in, and we've seen a really sharp move to the upside. So yeah, could be that we are about to see further upside from the US dollar in line with the dominant trend. And of course, that's had a knock-on impact on everything linked to it, as we've just seen with Steve on the precious metal side of things. If we take a look at Euro USD, we can see the reverse of what we saw on the dollar index chart, a bearish outside day candle formed there. So we made new highs above that resistance at 102.78, closed on the lows of the session to form a really large engulfing candle, and it looks as though prices are set to head lower. So a move back towards parity, I think, is the next target on Euro USD, certainly to challenge these lows that we posted on the 14th of July, which came in at 99.52. And probably lower from there, you would have to say. So the next major support we've got on our chart is at 96.78. So looking for much lower prices potentially on Euro US dollar, in line with obviously that dominant downtrend. Looking at cable, we saw an engulfing candle posted yesterday. It wasn't quite a bearish outside day, but as we can see, the red candle engulfed the body of the green candle the previous day to form that engulfing candle. We're slightly higher today by about 0.1% as things stand, but we saw a nice breakout of this wedge to the upside. So it would appear as though we are going to see maybe a little bit of a pullback, but it certainly doesn't look as bad as what we just saw with the Euro US dollar chart. Let's just take a quick look and see if there's any fib levels around here to target. So we rallied into the 50% fib level of this swing move here. So from the highs that we posted on the 27th of May down to the lows that we posted on the 14th. Is there a 61.8 nearby? Yeah, just a bit higher, up at 123.20. So yeah, maybe there's room for a bit of a pullback there. Certainly the overall trend remains pretty bearish on cable, but maybe we're going to see a little bit of consolidation on that in the short term. Looking at some of the other euro-linked currencies, some really interesting moves actually in yen as well. So we saw yen weakness come back to the market yesterday. So we've seen this with euro yen play out, a really nice break to the upside out of this pattern here. We saw a nice pullback before then it moving to new highs. We then saw some resistance form at 144.25. We saw a break of the trend. And we saw a really sharp move to the downside, but bang into these levels of support. And yesterday we posted a really impressive hammer candle. So the bulls coming to the defense of euro yen and driving it higher. So that was a really nice move and could indicate that we're going to see some higher prices in the short term with euro yen. If we look at some of the other yen currencies as well, let's have a look at Aussie. Yeah, so we threatened to break down below 91.42 to potentially form some sort of double top here in the short term. But again, really well defended, really impressive reversal posted yesterday from the lows of the session, which is obviously good to see if you are a bull on Aussie yen. Let's take a look at sterling yen, similar situation. Fell into support at 159.98. Again, really strong reversal there. And let's finally look at Dolly Yen. And we can see there, really impressive turnaround. Fall there into key support at 131.25. These previous highs from back here in May and April. Fell back into that level, really impressive reversal, and yeah, could indicate that we're about to see higher prices again on the US dollar and further weakness in the Japanese yen. Let's move on to indices. Take a look first at the ASX 200. So we broke above resistance here, this band of resistance we've got around 6,900. We saw prices continue to move higher, a little bit of a pullback over the last 24 hours. And that seems to be holding. So maybe we're going to get some support form here and higher prices over the short term. Take a quick look at China 50, because that is not doing what the rest of the markets are doing at the moment. That is falling away quite dramatically, as you can see there. So we reached highs in the early part of July, but prices have continued to really melt to the downside, and there's no signs of that slowing down. So that's looking pretty bearish indeed. Let's take a look at DAX. That's down by 0.35% as things stand at the minute. So we completed a short-term double bottom here, as highlighted by these two blue arrows, and the breakthrough, the neckline of that at 13.025. Decent push higher, nice pullback to retest that support, and prices have pushed on. Last 3 days we have seen consecutive down days, but they've been quite small ranges overall. And that came in just shy of the target of the measured move at 13,663. So more sideways and choppy price action expected in that over the short term. Nasdaq continues to fail to overcome this large resistance at 12,941. That's the previous swing high from the 3rd of June. And we've seen a bit of indecision in and around this level here. So we posted a doji candle there on the 1st of August. Yesterday was another doji with a bit of a bigger body, and today not really much in terms of range at the moment. So maybe we are expecting to see a pullback in the Nasdaq. It's certainly a major level, as we've highlighted on the weekly chart, as we'll do again. We talked about Steve's magic 26 period exponential moving average on the weekly chart for Nasdaq, and that is containing prices. The logic behind the 26 was the half year, effectively, moving average, and yeah, seems to be doing a pretty good job, Steve. I can't knock it.
Well, yeah, even on the rally higher, it had a couple of touch points, didn't it? So
Yeah,
yeah,
look at that all the way along.
we should have kept it a secret, Joe.
We should have done,
It's
really,
out there
shouldn't we?
now, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Can't,
it's
you can't apply that to any of the cryptocurrencies. I don't think you've got enough weeks that they've been going.
no, that is magical, though, that, I have to say. The other thing we pointed out with the Nasdaq was the fixed volume profile. So from the lows of the pandemic to the highs that we posted in November, looking at the participation within the move higher to see where most contracts are owned in this particular Nasdaq chart, and that comes in around current prices as well. So it's a really, really massive level of resistance here that the Nasdaq needs to overcome if we're going to be bullish about its sort of more medium-term prospects. So for me, I think it might just be a step too far at the moment, given what's going on with the wider economy, and my preference, I think, would be to sell here. Dow had a pretty tough day yesterday. I'm not sure if Jamie's going to talk about it at all, but I think Caterpillar earnings were out, and they really put a bit of a dent in the Dow Jones. Obviously, there's only 30 constituents in the market, so if you do get one of those stocks play up a little bit or not perform as well on things like earnings, you can see it have a pretty large impact. So we saw with the Dow yesterday posted a pretty nicely looking red candle, a evening star formation potentially, which could signify a reversal in that market. And finally, let's take a look at the S&P 500. That's rallying into resistance as well. And we saw a fair bit of selling yesterday. And I've already seen a glimpse of Jamie's heat map on the screen below, and it looked pretty red. So maybe I'll hand it over to you, Jamie, and you can talk us through what stocks are doing.
Yeah, you got a sneak preview of the heat map, and you were right. But I'd actually like to start off with something I thought was a bit weird. Biggest gainer and loser. I found this HKD, AMTD Digital, which moved up 21,105% since the 15th of July, um, which I just thought was a bit strange and worth highlighting. So if we look at this on a daily chart, it IPO'd actually back in on the 15th of July. Was that about $12, $13? And it closed yesterday at $1,679. So I mean, that would be nice. I'm trying to think, 20,000% put pound in, £20,000. Keep ticking over. But our biggest winner of the day is this one, which is actually up 390% on the day. This is Tech. Let's have a look. Why are we doing this? Why are we happy? No reason apparently. But up, yeah, 390%. So not a bad day to be on that one. Our biggest loser of the day was this, which is PHAT, or FAT as I'll refer to it from now on. So yeah, FAT was down 28.78% off the back of what looks like earnings some pretty significant volume. Let's have a look here. FAT reports a net loss in Q2 that was wider than a net loss a year ago and also missed the market consensus. So yeah, just an earnings miss is the reason for that. Here's the earnings not the earnings, the heat map that Joe was referring to. And yeah, it was a pretty red day generally. Nothing too crazy though. I mean, we looked at the indices. There wasn't a load of movement yesterday. You can see Amazon, Microsoft, Apple all down around 1%. So nothing really to write home about. Tesla was up 1%. AMD, rather misleadingly on this, looks like it was up 2.59%. But for those that tuned in yesterday or are just aware, AMD did report earnings after close, and I don't think it ended up being too good. In fact, let's go straight into that while I'm talking about it. AMD, we talked about this yesterday. We knew earnings were coming out, had this trendline resistance, and when I first kind of clocked on this morning, I thought, oh, it's broken through. Look, the volume's looking good. Maybe we're pushing through. But after hours, it was a pretty strong rejection of this. Yeah, there you go. Closing down at 92.40. So if we bring that to a daily chart, we're all the way back under the trendline resistance. So yeah, it looks like an earnings. Well, it looks like they actually hit on earnings, but the market didn't like it. and we can perhaps dive into that in a little bit. AMC looking quite good. We checked this out yesterday as well, buying this support level which we saw here, and this had a really strong move, up 9.69% yesterday, and earnings are being reported tomorrow after close on that. So just be a little bit careful if you're looking to trade that now. But yeah, pretty nice move for that yesterday. Caterpillar, as Joe said, reported earnings and missed pretty substantially yesterday. Only down 5.82% on the day, but pretty clear to see a gap down there. The volume really picked up as it usually does around these earnings results, but yeah, not looking so good. It's been pretty sideways for Caterpillar for a fair amount of time now, but this does to me seem like a bit of a top here. We're getting the lower highs in. On a daily chart, as we talked about, having quite a few gaps down now. The volume's picking up. Excuse me. Volume's picking up on the down days as well. So all the signs to me that this has got a bit of room to move lower. So be a little bit careful if you're trading that to the long side. Cisco, what are we looking at here? We had a nice win on Cisco, but I wanted to look at this. We're at the resistance level that we had highlighted previously, this swing high here. Bit of selling in yesterday's session. I'd look for this perhaps to head back to this. We drag this support out, have a bit of range bound action now. Won't expect too much movement really in the next couple of weeks. We do have earnings coming up on the 17th, so that's one of the later ones actually for earnings, but one to keep an eye on at this key level here. Fiverr, I don't really care about Fiverr, but this was at a support level. $30 propping up price there. A pretty nice day yesterday, but earnings out after close. Before open tomorrow. So last day of trading before earnings come out. One to keep an eye on. Lyft had a really nice day, lifting up from its lows. 16.26%. Yeah, you know, I got them in here as well. Volume's picking up, but I think this was actually off the back of its good friend Uber, which reported earnings. Obviously, these kind of stocks can move together when in similar industries. But yeah, Uber had a really nice earnings bump, up 18.9%. I mean, it was just a negative surprise by the looks of it, but I don't know. That's the thing with earnings. You can have results that aren't expected in a bad way, and the stock price can still jump up. So that's why it's really good to really reduce your risk going into earnings, because it's a bit of a lottery. No one really knows what's going to happen in terms of the result or how that result's going to affect price. So want to be careful on. But yeah, Lyft had a nice day as well. Jump into a couple more. Pinterest looks like it reported earnings. I think we actually missed this. It says it reported earnings on the 1st of August after close, which you may have done, but I must have missed that. But had the jump yesterday. Ran right back into this pretty important level. You can see here. Well, it's kind of actually up here. Not a perfect line, but you know, this is the resistance we saw earlier this year in April and in May, and ran right into that before selling off a bit. But regardless, up 11%, so quite a nice day there. Plugs continuing to move higher. We haven't seen the earnings for Plug yet. We had this gap up on the 28th of July, and prices have continued to push upward since then. Peloton, can't see this on my screen, it's too bright, but we've got some more range bound action here. Another idea we put out. Peloton moving back to this resistance level. That's quite a nice little scalp at this support level. You can keep, I think I've talked about this before, but one of the things I look at when I put out ideas is obviously getting the best risk reward. And for me, a level like this, although it's not with the long term trend, if you're looking for that kind of really short term move, you can get some really good risk reward doing something like this, because you can keep the stop really tight and target the resistance. So this we're getting 3.22R out of, and I just kept the stop below the swing low. If it gets down to there, the trade idea is completely null and void, but if it does hold up like this one seems to have done, you can get pretty good bang for your buck on that kind of a trade. PayPal, why do I care about PayPal? Earnings yesterday. Let's see the after hours. Look at that, there we go. PayPal boosting up a bit, closing just below $100. So let's have a look where that is. It's all the way up here now. Look at that. So we're closing about, what will be 90, around this blue line. So looks like a positive result for PayPal. As you can see down here, it doesn't look like it's anything too far away from what was expected, but as previously discussed, you know, price can react not how you necessarily expect it coming into earnings. So I think I want to look at one more. Vector Group. Looking at one of our. Is this British Airways? I think it is, isn't it? I get mixed
No,
up.
it's not. It's a pharmaceutical stock in the UK.
Oh, I'm all over the
IAG
place.
is British Airways.
Got you. I get mixed up. Regardless, so look at this. We've got this trendline resistance price picking up on volume, and closing actually just above the resistance we saw. This one's had quite a few nice technical patterns. We've kept an eye on this for a while. Looking at a weekly chart, we've highlighted the importance of this $100 level, 100 pence level, sorry, and its respected Fibonacci's. This has been quite a good little chart, honestly, if you wanted to show someone some pretty good technical patterns playing out, supports, resistances. This is probably a good chart to show them. But yeah, closing at resistance yesterday, volumes picking up though, and let's see where that moves to today. But overall, a bit of a down day yesterday with a couple of outliers. I mean, actually looking at the kind of my list as a whole, it looks like there were more stocks in the green than in the red. But I suppose it was the bigger names that were in the red which actually dragged the market slightly lower. But yeah, an interesting day. I'm not sure if we want to, Joe, have a little look at what earnings we've got coming out today, or we could do that in a little while. Or...
Yeah, we'll do that in a moment when we look at the day ahead. So for
Sure.
now, let's take a look at the Gun to the Head challenge. So this is a little game that we participate in every day. All of us pick a live trade idea on the video. Each of the idea must have a stop and a target. All the ideas are placed at market, and the trade ideas expire at 9 p.m. or when the stop or the target is hit. We also must have a risk-reward ratio in excess of 2 to 1. It is just a bit of fun. It is high risk, but we're just basically putting our necks on the line and calling it as we see it right now, in the hope that we can make a little bit of R. So in terms of our current trade ideas, you can check those out obviously on previous videos, but all of the ideas are published to our TradingView profile, which is signal_center, where you can also catch our streams. So yesterday, our 3 trades, we had Steve selling NASDAQ. Looked to be a nice bit of topping formation there into a major resistance as we had discussed. But sadly, Steve, that just pipped you out there.
Yeah, I know. Very annoying. Don't
By
talk
not a
about it.
lot.
No.
Okay, that's obviously how the game goes from time to time. We had a long on dollar index, so was buying into a support level yesterday, and that played out quite nicely, making 1.08R on
Nice
that
one,
one.
Joe.
And Jamie, you were selling dollar CAD. So although we were both going in opposite directions effectively with our trade ideas, me going long dollar, you going short, you were actually on side with yours as well yesterday at the
Nice
9
one.
p.m. close. So I think it was a mild win, 0.08R, I think. So
I think I had that yesterday, actually, the day before.
0.11R.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah,
I-
or there was the Bitcoin was something like that, or something. I remember that
Yeah,
number.
big
Win's a
winners.
win. Win's a win,
Yeah.
lads. So
Getting the movement up.
chalk it up.
3
Right,
points. You get 3 points. Yeah. So that's
yeah,
all
3
right.
points for a win. Yeah, I've got one ready to go actually. So
Oh, right.
I
Okay.
thought I'd
You
just
go
take
first.
it. Yeah, well, it's my honour as I got the biggest win yesterday.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
this is cable trading in a bullish channel. So again, that is actually going against what I said yesterday, looking for stronger sterling and weaker dollar. But it looks to be a nice little channel forming here on the hourly. So it is obviously very short term. We've seen a nice move to the upside over the last hour. It's currently trading at 121.97. So I'm going to buy it at the current price, and I'm going to just target and move back to these swing highs that we posted on the 1st of August. That comes in at 122.93, and quite a tight stop loss. I mean, ideally, I'd have it below the channel, so therefore it invalidates the channel that we've got on the screen here. But in order to achieve decent risk reward, I need to make it a bit tighter. So that's at 121.53, giving me a risk reward ratio of 2.3R. This is going straight on to TradingView right now. So if anybody wants to check it out or monitor it, feel free to do so.
Very nice.
One.
Who's next?
I think I just jumped the gun there. I just
Yeah.
stuck the chart up. I've just been watching the silver basically just after the analysis that we've done. I think there's a good opportunity here to short this. So selling silver at 1992. Target is 1932. Stop is at 2012. So that gives us a 3-to-1 risk reward.
Nice,
Basically, double top formation has been confirmed on the short-term chart, and obviously, remember the daily chart shows a evening doji style formation.
Lovely, that looks great. Nice one, Steve.
Yeah, liking that. Right, I'll finish it off. I am looking at New Zealand dollar against Japanese yen. I actually looked to buy this the other day, playing off what was a support level, but we saw a pretty significant break through this on the 1st and 2nd of August. We're coming back up to retest it, but I'm hoping there's more selling in store for this, and that this, what was support, will now hold up as a resistance level. So looking to sell New Zealand dollar against Japanese yen at current price, which is 83.49. 8349. I'm going to keep the stop just above this previous. If we drill down to 1 hour charts, we can see this a bit clearer. Just above these kind of highs here. Can keep it quite tight really, because if it gets too much higher, then the resistance hasn't done its job. So we're keeping the stop loss at 83.99, and with our take profit, this is quite ambitious. Do we want to go? I think we will stick to this. At 81.52. So if we do get a bit more of a sell-off on this today, we'll be making 3.94 R. So swinging for the fence a little bit, but looking like a decent level to me. So hoping for a move lower on that today.
Best of luck. Looks really nice. So yeah, 3 decent looking trade ideas I think there for today. I mean, we always think they look decent, but whether or not they win or play out, you know, we don't have crystal balls sadly, but we do our best. So check those out if you want. They're on the TradingView profile, as we said. In terms of what to expect for the day ahead, so we've got a couple of data points out today, most notably at 3 o'clock UK time, we've got the US ISM non-manufacturing index. And then at 3:30 UK time, we've got the US crude oil inventories. Just going to take a quick look at the calendar, the economic calendar, sorry, the corporate calendar, to see if we've got any major events out in the US that we should be keeping an eye out for. Just going to apply some filters. We're going to look for earnings. We're going to look for the most anticipated ones, and we're going to focus on the NASDAQ 100. Just otherwise we get inundated with different stocks. And a couple of names there to look out for: Booking Holidays Incorporated and eBay, probably the biggest. In fact, because there aren't too many, let's see if there's anything else going on in the S&P 500 and the Dow. And just see if we can see any names that are familiar or likely to create interest. So there's a decent look at what we've got today. Nothing particularly standing out. Certainly plenty going on, that's for sure. But it looks like eBay probably the most of interest. Marathon Oil Corporation, that's probably going to produce some pretty strong profits given what oil's done of late. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else to add, gents?
No, everything good. Be careful out there. Happy trading.
Absolutely. Well said, Steve. Okay, let's wrap it up there. Have a great day, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, everyone.